Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be my 3-month update, January, February, March. This is going to be my 3-month update for Pan That Palette for 2022, along with my Baby Pan That Palette update. Let's start with that. First of all, I've been doing a Baby Pan That Palette. It happened to start in January of last year, but it actually starts whenever the Baby Pan That Palette I was working on before is finished. And it just lined up so that I started working on it on January 1st of 2021. So the point of a Baby Pan That palette is to work my way through some of my smaller palettes. My rule is 5 pans or less, but the truth is I have some 5-pan palettes that could be a Pan That palette. Anyways, I'm currently working on this little duo from Smashbox. This is called the Smashbox Full Exposure Palette. It's only 2 shadows. You would think I would just be flying through it, but I'm not. For poops and giggles, I'll go ahead and show you a picture of what this looked like last month right now. And this is what it looks like today. There's still some crumbly, flaky bits in the shimmery side, so I don't want them to fall out. But the truth is, I've only used this one time in the past month. It was just a couple days ago I used this. I love this duo very, very much, but I haven't been focusing in on this at all. I'll go ahead and throw up a picture so you can see it better. But maybe I expanded the pan ever so slightly, and maybe the dip grew ever so slightly in the shimmery shade. But yeah, I only used it once in the past month, unfortunately. Okay, let's move on to my Pan That palette. Hopefully I have something slightly more interesting to talk about. I am doing the theme Size Matters for Pan That palette. That is a Pantastic Ladies theme. The Pantastic Ladies are a Facebook group, and it's just a group of people who like to talk about project panning all day long. A lot of the projects you see over on Instagram and here on YouTube are Pantastic Ladies projects. There are some brilliant minds over in that group coming up with some amazing ideas, but of course not every project pan out there is a Pantastic Ladies project. It's just a fun group of ladies to do projects with, basically. So if you have any interest in project panning or being a part of that group, I will go ahead and leave a link to the Facebook group down below. You are more than welcome to join. They will ask you a few questions to make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into, but they'll let you in if you answer them. So anyways, the Pantastic Ladies pick a theme every year for the group to do together. And the theme this year was Size Matters. So I ended up going with my e.l.f. 100 pan palette because that is by far the largest palette I own. I do not have anything even close to 100 pans. My next highest pan count is 35. Those Morphe palettes are the next biggest palettes I own, and those are only 35 pans. So 100 pans is very, very big. Let me show you a picture of what this looked like last month. And this is what it looks like this month. So you guys totally 100% called it. Many of you saw that I had pan on this shade down here before I even saw it. Towards the end of the video at last month's update, I thought I saw a speckle of pan, but you guys had already seen it. And the next time that I used this, I think the next day or 2 days later, sure enough, pan was there. And I've already, gotten a pretty good size pan over there because I love that shade very much. I use it all the time. That is my only new pan for this month because I didn't count it last month. So that puts my total pan count now at 11. I'll take it. I'm happy with 11 pans. I do not have any empty pans yet. I am so close to finishing off this shade right here. I do think that will be an empty by next month. I had product, the product on this side was much thicker, and I had product on this side last month as well. And I really cleared most of it out. So I think I could have that finished off within the next week, maybe. I've also really expanded the pan on this white shade, which is so hard for my camera to pick up on, but I think you can see the middle part right there is all gone. I have just a sliver on the top and on the bottom, and then some product on the sides that's getting very thin. I use that shadow to set my eyeshadow primer almost every day. So that has definitely expanded significantly. I think I also expanded the two brown shades that I use as brow powders. I think those pans grew in size. I sometimes mix this shade and this shade as a face highlight or a brow bone highlight. That's how I managed to pan on those two last month. I think I only used them once or twice. And this past month, I've gone back to using my Bella Rose eyeshadow for my face highlight after hitting pan on those two. But maybe the pan has expanded a little bit from using it a couple of times. But that is my biggest update as far as progress with this palette. I did play around with these greens during the first 2 weeks of March almost every day. I mean, there were days where I just couldn't do a green look. I couldn't stand the thought of doing a green look, and I'd go to something more neutral. But I did reach for these shades quite a bit over the first 2 weeks of March in honor of St. Patrick's Day. I was hoping I was gonna have like a pretty significant dip or something to show you guys, but I really don't. But the shades I reached for the most were this light matte green up here, and then this green down here. I basically used those two for all of my looks. There were two main looks that I did during those 2 weeks. The majority of the looks that I did involved those two green shades with this gold shade padded on top of my eyelid for a shimmery green and gold look. It felt very St. Patrick's Day to me. I felt like I was kind of on the nose. And I actually had a friend, a coworker, come up to me and she's like, I love your eyeshadow. I love it. And I'm like, are you Irish? She's like, I'm half Irish. So I was like, okay, good. Then I'm glad you like it, because I'm not Irish at all, but I felt the urge to try and get some use out of these green shadows in honor of St. Patrick's Day. So that was one look. And then the other look I did involved those same two shadows, but instead of the gold, I ended up putting Sin from my Urban Decay Naked palette that I'm trying to hit pan on all over my eyelid. That turned it into a very cool toned green look, and that was really cool too. I actually like that one very much as well. So there was using those same two shades, I was able to get either a very warm toned golden look or a very cool toned, like it looked silver almost look out of it, and I really enjoyed that. When I was craving purple in this past month, I would reach for this L'Oreal shadow in Burst Into Bloom. This is in my 50 Shades of Purple project, and one look that I did several times involved using the pink, my dusty pink in my transition area, Burst Into Bloom on the inner half of my eyelid, and this blue down here on the outer half of my eyelid, which was surprisingly interesting and pretty. I kind of liked it. I found it to be a wearable blue for me, because even though I had a lot of blue on my eyelid, I covered a lot of it up with that purple, and that was much more tolerable for me, because I love purple eyeshadow, but I don't like blue eyeshadow. And I thought that was an interesting way to deal with blue. I mean, like, I could see myself panning these blues. Like, I know it's possible if I can layer other shadows on top of it. So those were the three looks I did for the first like 3 weeks of March, 2 weeks of March. And then once St. Patrick's Day was over, I kind of just started doing whatever. I went back to some of the eyeshadows that are in my 50 Shades of Purple, and I wasn't using this as consistently. I mean, I was still using the brow bone shades every single day, and I was still using this shade to set my eyeshadow primer every day, but I found myself reaching towards a lot of shadows that are not in this palette from day to day, that are in other projects. So that's kind of where the second half of the month went. For the month of April, I have a new goal. I've identified some of these shadows over here, some of these neutrally like plummy shades, like this one and this one, and like these two, this one, this one, this one, this one. Yeah, and this one. I kind of feel like those 4 shadows all have the potential to be like a one shadow look, or maybe just throw a little bit of pink in the crease and then put that one shade all over my eyelid and on my lower lash line, and I'm done. And I'm very, very attracted right now to a one shadow look concept. Well, that's really throwing off the color balance there. I'm really interested in a one shadow look right now. So I would like to focus in on one of those 4 shades for the next month and see if I could hit pan on one of them. I'm not sure which one it would be, but I really like the idea of a one shadow look, and I like the idea of making some progress on some of these neutrals over here in the next month. So I am going to make that a goal for the next month. I also have chosen some companion eyeshadows that are in other projects that I want to focus in on over the next month as well. Now, here's the thing. I have 2 more weeks of 50 Shades of Purple, and then that project ends. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing purple eyeshadow looks every single day. I don't see myself reaching for any of these products over the next 2 weeks because I'm pretty much going to be reaching for the items that are in my 50 Shades of Purple project. And I'm just going to, it's not that I have a lot of goals that I think I can meet, but I just want to enjoy these products for the last 2 weeks until that project ends and it's time to put them away. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing purple eye looks pretty much every day. I am wearing my MAC palette today, which I call a standalone palette. I consider to be a standalone palette. I don't have any eyeshadows from any other palettes other than 4 shades from that MAC palette that's in my 50 Shades of Purple. That's what I'm wearing on my eyes today. And I've been wearing that a ton over the last week. But I do have some shades I've pulled that I am hoping to get some more use out of after 50 Shades of Purple ends. So from April 15th until my next update on May 1st or May 2nd. This is a 50 Shades of Purple project item. I'm bringing this back again. I'm hoping to get some more use out of this in the next 2 weeks. This is Burst Into Bloom from L'Oreal. I'm also bringing back these 2 items right here. I don't know what is going on with the color. I have my MAC eyeshadow in Cranberry and my Sephora eyeshadow in All That Glitters. This is in an update coming up on the 9th. So I don't know how I'm going to mix this gold shadow in with the purple eyeshadows from 50 Shades of Purple, but I need to try because I want to hit my goal on this before the 9th. And MAC Cranberry is just an ongoing goal of hitting pan on. This is in my Do Japan My Battleship project. I only used it a few times this past month. I'm also going to bring back again my Life's a Festival palette from Too Faced. I was so disappointed that I didn't have pan on this by the update last week. And I'm still aiming to have pan on this as soon as possible. But in addition to those 4 shades that I had picked as my focus shadows for last month, I'm bringing in a 5th shade, which is a little bit bananas, I know. But this eyeshadow palette has been calling my name and I've just been ignoring it, but I cannot ignore it anymore. And that is my Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette. This is another item that's in my Panner's Pan project. And my goal is to hit pan on this coral shade here called Peach Punch. And dang it, I am just not reaching for this palette, and it is April. May is coming, it is time. It is time to enjoy this shade. This is an April and May and June eyeshadow, and I want to be using it. So I'm bringing this in as a focus shadow as well. I know it's a lot, I know it is, but 50 Shades of Purple is coming to an end in 2 weeks, whether I'm ready for it or not. There is a part of me that's very ready for it, and there's a part of me that's absolutely not ready for it. So that project is coming to an end, and it's going to open up a lot of opportunities to get back to using some of these other shadows that I've been putting aside over the past several months. So that finale should be coming up in just 2 weeks. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. So yes, I think that's everything for this update, you guys. Another long one. These are all very long ones, but I have so much to talk to you about. So I will meet you back here in a month to discuss my progress on Pan That palette. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.